I'm going to go a little bit deeper with this topic here, man, because this week marks 20 years almost since the day Chris Benoit supposedly had taken his wife and son's life. This was possibly the darkest time to be a wrestling fan. I mean, think about this. One thing I learned, man, Vince McMahon survived a whole lot. He's one of the most resilient. The WWE is probably the most resilient company I could think of. Because think about this. They survived the transition from Vince Sr. to Vince Jr. He survived the Monday Night Wars. They survived the steroid scandal in 1994. They survived the departure of Hulkamania. They survived WCW and Ted Turner's money. They survived the 83 weeks. They survived the Eddie Guerrero death. But this one right here, this almost took them under. Because the media itself they never really liked professional wrestling. And they were looking at any form of excuse or any form of angle to take the business down. Even that's one of the main reasons why WCW went under. Not because they couldn't get a television slot, but it's because the suits above didn't like wrestling. They saw it as beneath them, even though it was their biggest show. And you can see right now, even today, TBS ain't running on shit. And ironically enough, they picked up back on AEW, which is ironic, but that's another topic. But going here, man, I remember this like yesterday, bro. This was one of the craziest, if not the craziest memories I ever had. I remember I was leaving work and we was getting ready to watch Monday Night Raw. It was a weird time around this period because, they was running an angle where Vince McMahon was blown up. Then you start having wrestler deaths just start happening. Then around this time when Vince was kayfabe dead, you had Sensational Sherry passing away. And then you had another wrestler passing away. It was somebody that Benoit knew. I forgot the guy's name. Then you had another wrestler passing away. I think his name, what was it? It was one of the Public Enemy guys. So, still keep in mind, this was 2 years removed from Eddie Guerrero. And I remember we getting ready to watch Monday Night Raw to see what was in store for us. And then they flashed Chris Benoit in a black screen. And they had him like from 19 something to where he died that day. We was like, what the fuck? We was stunned. And then you seen Vince McMahon in the empty arena crying, almost like to cry and stuff. Not crying because they probably knew what Benoit did, but crying because he thinking now his empire's in trouble. Because they don't know the details. But then we get word that his wife and kid die. We like, what the fuck happened? And I'm telling you, it was strange enough that they didn't even run a tribute. Because they did that with Eddie. Whenever a wrestler dies, they come out the next day and they all run tributes. They had separate video tributes with Triple H, John Cena, Edge, CM Punk. They had a few guys out there, Chavo, Regal, but there was no fans there or nothing. And they ran his matches and they ran his interviews and all. They did that whole song and dance. But it was just eerie. Something ain't right. I personally thought it was a mob hit. I don't know if there was a Dino Bravo type situation because it was something to do with the Canadian Mafia. I don't know. But then the word get back the next day when they do the ECW episode. Well, they said we got more details. We gonna condone anything Chris Benoit did, and they just banished this motherfucker from anything. They banished him from everything. Like he won't on no DVDs. His name won't mention. Everything good accolades was taken down and thrown in the vault. But Then the conspiracy started coming. We started thinking that Kevin Sullivan do it because Benoit took Nancy from him. And I'm thinking when I looked at the detail, there was something deeper than that. But I looked at his DVD a long time ago where he said he don't want to go into details behind how he hooked up with woman. This thing runs deep when he hooked up with Nancy. Could this been life imitating art? Did the Sullivans have something to do with this? Because, Sullivan was into that satanic type stuff. Because the way this thing looked was kind of a satanic ritual. So, then you start seeing the media backlash. It was fucking crazy. Nancy Grace, old punk ass outside. All these people that wanted to axe the grind with the business and the wrestling business and the first place, they had their teeth sink. They had their teeth out ready to eat. They had Chris Benoit, Bret Hart, John Cena, Ted DiBiase, all these guys trying to clean it up, trying to defend not defend Benoit, but they was like confused because we like, yo, this ain't the Chris Benoit we knew. Well, I don't know what this shit is. Then we go into the whole ordeal about steroid use. We like, oh shit. And then certain wrestlers all of a sudden they start all of a sudden not appearing as much. We ain't seen Randy Orton as much. We ain't seen Scott Steiner as much. You start seeing Batista as much. All of a sudden Batista get an injury. All the dudes that look big and muscular, all of a sudden you don't even see them on TV like that. I'm like, okay, they pulling that whole we ain't see Triple H as much. All of a sudden his quad hurt. All the guys that look very muscular on screen, all of a sudden you don't start seeing them like that. But then to make matters even worse with the WWE, John Cena gets hurt and maybe out a whole year, and he had to relinquish the belt. So it was on for Triple H, Shawn Michaels, Randy Orton, The Undertaker, Batista. They had to carry it out to 2007 because, good God, they had to deal with this along with losing key players. And they had to pretty much clean up the whole product because after that, then it gave birth to the PG era. They had to clean up everything. It was no more blood. It was no more chair shots to the head. It was no more extreme violence. It was no more aggressiveness. The ruthless aggression era died around the time where The Undertaker and Edge had their Hell in a Cell in a match. So that gave birth to the PG bullshit, and it was making safe money. I understand they had to do what they had to do and stay in business, but as a fan, man, we was disappointed, man. We was disappointed. I'm like, man, we got to go through this PG bullshit. We missed the attitude, ruthless aggression era. We missed that in-your-face, edgy energy. We understand the protocol, what we got to do, man, but the shit sucks. That's why you ain't really see me do any content or, even watch it for that matter for 2009 and 2011, really. But the Benoit thing is one of the main reasons why we where we at right now in the WWE. He almost killed the business, man. And I knew for sure he wasn't going to be in the right frame of mind, even going back with the Eddie Guerrero thing. Shout out to my guy, Eli the Sandman. He did a crazy video about that. And he had a lot of them wrestling fans pissed. That video he did too, he said that he supposed to believe that Eddie and Benoit was in a relationship. Allegedly. Boy, the motherfuckers was mad. Them motherfuckers was mad. But I'm going to go back and probably re-look at this case, man. I'm going to look at the dark side of the ring tonight. And I could probably get another clear view on what's going on with this, man. Because this is the anniversary. But this was the main reason why we where we at right now with this PG shit. The WWE ain't changed PG since. Chris Benoit. You did it, nigga. You the reason why we in this bullshit and we can't get out. So let me know what you guys think. Subscribe, hit the like button. Peace.